back to the Cinema Cult Network. I'm Chris.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Honto.
And we're continuing our James Bond coverage with the new one, No Time to Die from 2021. Originally supposed to be released in 2020, but delayed almost a year and a half at that point, I think.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, because
It's
like
up there.
Oh, yeah. I guess
it got delayed like 6 or 7 times. And it's
Yeah,
weird.
because it was supposed to be spring, I think, of 2020.
Okay.
And then COVID hit, and then it got bumped to November, right?
It was that and Fast 9.
Those were the two. And Top Gun. I think
Top Gun, yeah. Top
Yeah.
Gun just got delayed again, I think.
Did it really?
Mhm.
Oh, man.
That and Mission Impossible, I think, because of
Oh, no.
Tom Cruise basically sticking it to the studios. Because they want to do like a streaming thing. And so many people have been getting screwed over
Yeah.
with money over streaming. Like, case in point, the Scarlett Johansson.
Uh-huh.
So he said, since he's an executive producer, he basically, I think, delayed it so they can figure out
Really?
money. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Okay. It's actually weird that you say that because I've watched a few trailers recently and they'll be completely quiet throughout, like no narration. And at the end, they're like, only in theaters.
I know, right?
Like, it's very like, hey, we're telling you it's only in theaters.
Yeah. Now it's like the big twist of every trailer is like, is it going to be streaming or is it going to be theaters? Is it streaming or
I feel the
theaters?
same way, yeah.
And saying that, we actually didn't go see this movie in theaters. We waited till it came to streaming.
We didn't wait. They rushed this to get streaming.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
really?
I guess a lot of people were upset about that because it had only been in theaters for 30 days.
Yeah.
And their deal was after 30 days is going directly to streaming.
Yep.
So they had a deal. I mean, usually it would have stayed in theaters for probably 7-8 weeks.
Yeah.
But instead, after 4 weeks, they cut it off.
Well, movies are just that way now. Like, that's what's kind of crazy is like movies aren't
it's
sticking around for, like, I don't even think they're sticking around fully for a month now.
Oh, it's longer than a month. I would say it's about a
Like,
month and a half.
Shang-Chi just dropped on Disney Plus.
Yeah, but
was
that came out.
That
was
came out in June.
Yeah, that was like
May or June.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought that was October.
That was like 3 or 4 months ago,
I've
dude.
been,
Oh,
I've been
no
waiting.
shit. Never
I've been
mind.
waiting very patiently to watch it, and I watched it.
Yeah, and I'm waiting. Eternals is, I think, is going to drop pretty quickly because I imagine like
I think it'll probably be about the same. It'll probably be like in the springtime.
yeah, no, because like I think what's going to end up happening, and you're going to see this now with like movies, is I think they're gonna sit in theaters for about 30 days, and then there's going to be a month break. And then they're going to drop them on streaming for like $20 rentals. And
Okay.
that's going to take over the place of physical media. The way physical media was when like movies would drop and then they'd go straight to DVD or Blu-ray.
Mhm.
And then they could recuperate the sales through DVD and Blu-ray.
Yeah.
They're going to recuperate the sales through streaming. But it's going to be a purchase for like a couple of months. And then it'll be like a physical media thing. You know what I mean?
Usually we disagree on a lot of things together, but that's pretty valid. I mean, yeah, like stretch it out.
Yeah.
It's streaming. It's $20 to stream it.
We've basically been in a trial, like a beta mode for this like whole theater streaming for like the last year and a half.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And I think they're gonna finalize it soon to figure out like what maximizes the most.
Because I mean,
money.
I'm going to talk about spoiler. I do know how much this movie made recently. Because
Well, Honto, do you know?
No, I don't.
Okay, Honto, take a guess. Worldwide,
up to this week. Up to this week.
it's
Well,
out. It's not in theaters anymore. So
Oh, really? I was
Yeah.
going to say including this week.
no, it's gone.
Okay.
Since we
That's what I
streamed it.
know is like up to this week how much it's made.
Yeah, so it's done. It's not in theaters
Yeah.
anymore. So,
132 million.
worldwide.
Yeah.
It's like 700 million.
Yeah.
Whoa,
Yeah,
700
It's-
million up until this
yeah.
week.
Holy shit.
But I also read something that like they had to make like 900 million to like
Break even.
break even on the movie.
that sucks when you're like, we made a lot of money. It's like you're not even close to making your
Well, I
money.
guess it was partial to the delay for all the marketing and advertising. It kept adding up because of the delay.
Yeah.
So that kept ranking onto that. But yeah, because the budget was only 250, so it only cost 250 to make. But then all that publicity and advertising, that's
Yeah.
what cost like 500 million.
Well, because they
Right.
kept doing it,
Yeah.
right? That's probably why
that's
it
why-
cost so much
yeah.
because they kept
That's
doing
what I'm saying.
They
That
kept
whole year of COVID, and then re-promoting and doing commercials and getting
it
TV
was like,
spots.
and I know I'm going off memory here, but I think it was supposed to drop in the spring because
Yeah, it was.
we talked about it being the first James Bond movie to drop in the spring, and
we
not
talked about
November.
even doing an episode in spring. For
Yeah.
this.
And then COVID hit, so they pushed it to the November release. And then did it get another release date for this summer and it didn't drop? or
I
the
think
spring.
So. It was 6
It happened-
dates.
it happened
was like 5 or
multiple
6
times.
dates.
6
It was like
days?
5 or 6 dates.
Holy
It got
shit.
I
moved.
remember again. Yeah, I remember it being delayed multiple times.
Yeah, and then which is even weirder is it dropped in October, which is like I feel like historically Bond movies have always done better in November.
Yeah, November's always the era.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird that they dropped it in horror movie month.
Yeah.
I
Um,
still think it did as good as it was going to do. Making, I think it was almost 800 million that it made.
Yeah.
That's still pretty baller.
well, and it's crazy too because it's like okay, and bringing up Eternals again. I know we keep talking about Eternals because it just came out.
Nope,
It's like
it's just you.
yeah, just me. But like it made 90 million. I don't know if that was 90 worldwide or US.
I think it's US.
But like that's probably as much as that movie's gonna like. That's like the height of what that movie's gonna make in its first week, right?
Yeah.
And then because those are all the hardcore Marvel people. I don't think you're getting the strays anymore of like, hey, let's just check out this movie tonight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not getting those stray people that come in to see the movies anymore. Like you're getting just the hardcore
You're
people
very-
that first week.
Very honed in on what you're going to be seeing.
Yeah. So with the Bond situation, I think when they were like, okay, this is as much James Bond's gonna make. We need to put this on streaming
Yeah.
because it's not hitting. Like we've hit the fan base. Basically, those first like week or 2 weeks for most of these movies, since they're all IPs, they're like basically focused on hitting the fan base, and the fan base is going to come out those first 2 weeks,
Mhm.
and then after that, they're like, it's more like, all right, we hope other people are going to see this.
Well, that's just movies in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember reading that.
but I'm saying that with just IPs, like
Well, no, that's just movies in general. So, okay, back in the day, it would always be about like Titanic was in theaters. I think it was like maybe 6 months, which is insane to think
Yeah.
about now.
Yeah.
But it was about it's what it made in its entire run. And now, if it's not a hit opening weekend, they're like, okay, it was a bomb.
Yeah.
Like we lost it. So they consider opening weekend like we blew it.
yeah.
Which is insane. Like you'd think you'd like let their full run go. Like I'm just trying to think of, like sleeper movies. I know we were talking about this off podcast,
Yes.
but movies like Scream.
Mm.
Scream came out and it was like this small movie, but then word of mouth every week it kept bringing in money, so then it became a hit.
Which is weird. You don't get like, and that's what I want to talk about too. Is it's like you don't. It's like these movies don't sit long enough for word of mouth to actually exist. Like it never for word of mouth to pop up.
Yeah.
You know, like, and it's very strange that like a lot of these movies nowadays they don't get to hang out in theaters long enough for people to talk about them. You know,
Yeah.
so it's probably why they're not
I think
making.
people talk about them, but since it's such a short market now, not short market, but short time span, they're like, oh, I'll just wait. It's gonna be streaming in 30 days. So just wait.
Yeah, but it's just weird. It's like I don't know how to really describe it. It's like it's like if it what you were saying, if it just doesn't do good its first week, it's a bomb. It's boom.
Yeah.
It's like it's done. You know,
It's
and
bizarre to me.
There's no there. I don't
Yeah.
think we'll ever see a such thing as a sleeper movie ever again because it's so fast now.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no way for like a Good Will Hunting to come out because I think Good Will Hunting was a sleeper.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
I'm guessing on that one. But there's no way for it to come out and sit for a month and then the word of mouth picks up and then everyone goes to see it that second month of its
Yeah.
release. It'll be gone within those first 2 weeks
Yeah.
Because everybody's
because it's not an IP.
well, no, and it's not even that. I think it's because, man, we're getting into a rabbit hole with this.
No, but this is interesting though. I feel like we've never discussed it to this degree.
So, oh man, I'm getting so tied up inside my head. But like, okay, so it's so rare for a movie to be number one twice nowadays because everybody that wants to go see it sees it that weekend
Mhm.
and then they move on.
Yeah.
So like, I can't remember what it was. I mean, there was a movie earlier in the year that was number one for 2 weekends in a row, and everybody's like, "Oh, that's insane! Like, what? This
World
is such a big
record."
deal." Yeah.
Yeah.
And back in the day, like, and this is totally exaggerated, but like
Number
Titanic
one.
would be number one for 8
Yeah.
weeks in
Yeah.
a row or
Yeah.
something, you know?
Yeah.
Well, and and that's what I was talking about with like with Eternals, like making 90. Like it's not going to be making that its second week.
Probably not.
No.
I'll probably not. But I looked it up. It's doing fine. It's
Yeah,
almost
it's doing
it's almost
fine.
at 300 million.
Yeah.
But it's not going to make like it's the same amount of money the next week. Anybody who really wanted to see that movie like hardcore
Oh, yeah, it
is
doesn't
going to see
really-
it that
yeah.
first week,
Agreed.
and then after that it's going to trickle down. And
Yeah,
I know that.
I want to see it
Yeah.
hardcore.
You'll
but-
probably wait till Disney Plus,
But
right?
yeah, I haven't been to a theater in.
Would
like-
now let me ask you this then: would you wait to rent it if it was like at the $20 mark? Because we did this with Bond, and there was
Probably-
how many of us in the room? when
probably
we-
not.
No, you'd wait for just a streaming. For
Probably
free?
wait for the stream. Yeah.
Okay, because we watched Bond with over 10 of us in the room for how much?
$20.
So for $20, you know, we could have each spent like $15 on a ticket.
$20 per person,
Yeah.
basically.
And instead, we all got together,
Yeah.
watched it once for $20.
But that's the thing,
Essentially, we bought it. Like,
Sure.
we bought a Blu-ray. This is the same idea of us buying a Blu-ray and say, hey, come over and watch a movie.
And
then
then
we all sat down
the
and
store
watched
being like, hey, we need that Blu-ray back, but we're going to
Yes.
keep their money.
Exactly. And therefore, it's kind of a good business model because if you really look at what movies are a product that you can resell to people as an experience, and they'll keep rebuying it because they can't like this is before physical media days, but you can keep selling them a product and they can't keep it for themselves. They have to keep experiencing it through you. So that's what the idea of what a movie is.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you go buy tickets,
Right.
I'm going to keep seeing it. That's why so many people saw Star Wars so many times because
Mhm.
they couldn't have it at home.
That's why I saw The Matrix 6 times in theaters.
Yeah.
'Cause, I could buy it, but I'd much rather see it in the theater.
So when the buying aspect comes in, so now we're kind of back to where we were before physical media, where you can sell it to people for $20 and then you can basically make them buy the experience again and
Interesting.
you can make money that way again.
Yeah, that's valid.
So yeah.
Well, not really though, because they're gonna rent it, and then most people don't buy physical media like we do. They move on, so they're like, I saw it.
Yeah.
So yes and no. I see what you're saying.
Yes. It's yes
yeah.
and no. And I
Yeah.
get that too. But it's just I think it's the new model. It's gonna be the new model. of
I
how-
think
this
a
is how
year from
things-
now, it's going to be even more different, and we're going to be talking about this as the new model because they're going to keep playing with it.
Yeah.
But and I'll say this too, as a final note, I think this is good because one of the problems going on with movies right now is that they're not making anything, and a lot of people have been complaining about this in Hollywood, that they're not making anything that's not safe, that doesn't already have a fan base attached to it because of what we're talking about. They can't make its money back in physical media, so they can't take chances like they used to. It's got to have some kind of fan base, which is basically another word for publicity
Mm-hmm.
before the movie even comes out. And that way they can sell it to people that and because nobody buys physical. But if the model is this where you spend $20 on streaming, then they could take more chances on things. We could see some more movies that are because right now it sounds like only Netflix is taking chances on movies.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Man,
That's it.
that was
cool.
I think
Yeah,
the rest of the episode's just going to be Chris and I because Matt's about to pass out from talking so much.
Sweating, man.
Your mama sure do care about your education.
I kept trying to figure out a way to jump into that conversation, but it was really tough. You're really leading the charge here,
Dude.
nice.
I honestly, that's the most we've talked about this, and because that's the thing that's really
We're in a
screwing
change-
Hollywood
we're
up
in a-
right now.
We're in a changing market at the moment.
Yeah, and they're trying to figure out how to change the market.
Yep.
So I think that's just the way the model's
Yeah.
going to go: is theaters for a month, maybe 2 months of
Yeah.
nothing, and then $20 for streaming.
Yeah.
It's valid. Do you remember when you used to go on your rants back in the day? There was, I think, your first rant or one of your first
Creepy
rants.
Corner.
It was
It was
on
Creepy Corner.
Swordfish.
It was Creepy Corner for Dead Silence.
Oh, he did one that early.
Matt's Creepy Corner.
What did
Oh,
I
I don't
talk
remember
about?
You just talk about creepy stuff. Welcome to Matt's Creepy Corner.
Oh, really? Like dreams?
Yeah, and then first for
What you thought you were going to do when you were in your 30s?
That's terrifying. We had Matt's Jada Pinkett Smith corner
Okay.
for Scream 2.
Okay.
I think. Yeah.
What the
that
hell
was
did I
one.
say about Jada Pinkett Smith?
You were talking about something. I remember.
In a corner.
Yeah.
And then I know
Talk to me. You're like, I don't know.
I don't know. I really got to go back and we were drunk during that episode, so
That
I have
was
to go back
that
and
was a
figure
wild-
out what the hell we were
That was a
talking
wild,
about.
crazy episode.
so why don't we do a James Bond corner
Okay.
and we'll talk about the 2021 release, No Time
Wow.
to Die.
Wow, this whole episode's a corner.
Let's just, you know what? Let's stay in this corner and let's talk about. Everybody go around and give your Rotten Tomatoes score. I think this one has has an 85 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
I think it's ballpark. I have to look it up,
Okay.
but it's 85. Hanso, what would you give it on Rotten Tomatoes?
Probably like a 72. 72?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just go into your quick sentence review real quick. What do you?
Oh, it's definitely this is way better than Spectre, which is kind of like the basis of my score. Spectre is if you go back to our Now Playing back in season 1, which is like 2015 era, we came back to the theater and did an episode on it immediately, and we're like, this is the best movie ever made.
We all said that.
Yeah, we were like, this Spectre masterpiece.
Yeah.
Oscars.
Really?
Everywhere. Yeah.
I remember not liking it.
Yeah, we definitely talked about how it was great. But it is not great.
Matt
now.
just looked at me like, I did?
We did?
Yeah, there's lots of mistakes were said on that podcast. But yeah, my basis of my score is based on that movie alone. Because that is probably one of the worst entries in the James Bond franchise.
Wow, that's bold, dude.
Oh wow,
That's bold. That's very iconic of you to say something like that.
You're like taking Chris's lines.
I know.
What is going on with you tonight?
So you gave it a 70?
Yeah, about 72.
Okay, it's got an 84 in Rotten
I'd
Tomatoes.
say
I
about
looked it up.
72. It's a little bit better
Okay.
than I think Live and Let Die, which I gave a 70, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, I liked it. A little confusing at times. Plot was a little muddled,
Okay.
but I like what they did with it.
Matt, 84 in Rotten Tomatoes. What do you give it?
You give it about a 70.
Okay.
It looks really good. There's so much to pick apart. There's so many good things and bad things about the movie. I feel like it is better than Spectre. We're gonna spoil the hell out of this. So if you're listening right now and you're like, I don't want it to be spoiled, I don't know why you would.
Yeah,
there'll
be
episode.
disclaimers in the episode description and everything. So
Yeah. But it's just I think where the story ends, I wasn't really feeling it, and like
you know what?
I didn't really care.
I was fine with it.
I think that's why I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Because like I was fine with it. I was like, this should be more of a gut punch to the ball sack. What?
What kind of quado ball sack do you?
It's a double punch, a double gut to the ball, double gut and ball sack punch. You ever gotten punched twice? Like more of like
So like your balls go in your stomach and then they punch you in the
Yeah.
stomach.
Oh, my bad.
Oh,
a push.
ball
That's
sack
called a
gut.
push when you do both hands. But yeah, it was a double punch. But I feel like I kind of walked away. I'm like, okay. Like I feel like this should have been more of like I should have been like, oh, this is.
I think how
this
it
really
was,
got me at the
I
end.
think
of this
how
movie.
it was done was not so great.
Yeah.
But I liked that it happened.
Okay.
And I think it's just one of those ones. I don't like what this movie does to the story that it tried to build in the last movie, and
Yeah.
it kind of just like like remember that last story? Like forget it. We're gonna start over again. The acting's good.
Yeah.
I liked Rami Malek. I didn't like his character, but I liked his acting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get into it, but 70%. It's not bad. It's just like I don't know. It's not great.
Christopher.
84 in Rotten Tomatoes. I will give this a 60.
Oh,
Yeah, I'll say it was 60.
Low score from Chris.
It's not bad.
It's,
It is very mediocre. It is a paint by numbers Bond. And the whole thing with the Daniel Craig series was that it wasn't going to be paint by numbers. I think this is the
Oh,
second
yeah.
worst one out of the Daniel Craig ones.
What's your?
If
worst
I had to
one?
rank them, I'd say Casino Royale, Skyfall, Spectre, this, and then Quantum of Solace.
Oh wow, you think Spectre's better than this?
I don't know if it's a better movie, but it's more entertaining. I felt like there was a lot of this stuff where I was like, okay, they're shooting stuff up. I can cool 25 minutes of just shooting things. Like
I to be honest, I can't remember a damn thing about the plot points and the set pieces from Spectre, just because I think it was so boring.
see. I remember
Just
it
like the
being
theme
fun.
song.
I remember
Yeah.
enjoying it and at least having fun with it. I didn't really have fun with this. I
There
will
are-
say the first 45 minutes I did.
There's a lot of good stuff in this movie.
I disagree, but
Yeah,
if you convince
I'm
me,
back and
but
forth.
go ahead, convince me. Like what's okay? I'll start off with a positive because I'm not trying to be Mr. Negative. The girl from Knives Out
Anna de Armas.
Yeah,
might be the best thing about this movie.
I would say easily best part.
She's the
So much
best thing
fun.
about all
all
take it-
movies.
all movies ever.
I think
Taking Casino Royale out of the mix, right? She's the best thing out of the remaining 4 movies in the
Oh,
Craig.
I disagree.
Oh no, she is the best thing. Like
Have you seen the opening of
I
Quantum
was-
of Solace?
I was totally against a female James Bond because I was like,
she should be the next Bond.
I was like, I don't want a female James Bond because I like James Bond. James Bond's like a man's fantasy. I want it to be a man. But dude, after watching her in this movie, it totally changed my mind. And I'm like, if she's the next James Bond,
yeah.
I'm on board. She fucking ruled in this movie.
Like if you see did you see the new Paloma movie?
Yeah.
Man, I can't wait for the new
Dude,
Paloma movie.
I'm so about it. Like it was such a shame. Okay, so there's not much trivia I've got for you guys, but a little bit of it. Her part was like really small originally. in the
yeah, I
screenplay.
read about this.
Yeah, like up to like just like one quick scene and gone.
That's a damn shame.
And they got a writer to come on. I can't remember her name off the top of my head. It's a female writer. She writes. She's a big female writer too. But they brought her on to like spruce up the screenplay, and she wrote most of it.
She's basically like a script doctor in a way.
She was a script doctor for this movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you guys not think?
Look up her name for me, Hato.
When she came up, though, did you not think that she was going to be like Rosie from Live and Let Die?
I totally thought she was going to be
Yes.
Because she's like, yeah, she's like, this is my third weekend or something like that. And then the whole joke is like, oh man, she's brand new. She doesn't know what she's doing. And then she's phenomenal.
I thought she was gonna be like the Xenia Onatopp.
Oh yeah, she's gonna be.
I thought she was gonna be like the Rami Malek's like right hand henchman.
That would have been cool. Give me something in this movie.
Yeah, where she's like kicking the shit out of Bond.
Looking at it, is there a single femme fatale in any of the Daniel Craig movies?
Did you not see Casino Royale?
Oh yeah, it's the whole twist.
I guess so. I guess so.
Yeah,
but yeah, is that it? Like,
yeah, but
that's
it's a
the
continuing
only
story.
But that's the only bad girl that's in like any of the Bond movies.
You're a bad girl.
Or any of the. She's the only naughty girl in like any of the Craig movies.
Who's your favorite naughty Bond girl?
But yeah, she is so good, and it's such a fun scene.
Yeah, she's having a great time. She's smiling, she's laughing. It's like this is fun.
This whole scene is great,
dude.
And then it's the only really good scene of this whole movie.
I bring this up as like the only good moment outside of Casino Royale. This is the only moment where so I walked away from it, and I think the problem with the Craig movies is the Craig movies are too serious and too down to earth.
Yes.
And James Bond movies are supposed to be a fantasy. You know?
Yeah, with the gadgets that are not real.
Yeah, it's supposed to be fun and fantasy. And this is like the only time that
are you saying that girls can't have fun and be action heroes?
I didn't say anything like that.
Is that the fantasy?
You literally just put the words in my mouth. But no, this is the only time where like it actually gets fun and like
is like
more fantasy based.
This is like your big action set piece that feels like it's like you're like in an Indiana Jones movie where this is like a domino effect of stuff happening, and you're following along. You're able to connect the dots of the scene and everything. Whereas like in most action sequences in the Bond franchise, it's like a lot of quick cutting. You're like, I'm lost. I have no idea what's going on in the scene.
But I think that's that's why I think it's the best Bond, the best Craig moment in any of the. Even Daniel Craig's fun in the scene.
Yeah.
Like they get a drink at the bar, and it's like, oh, this is cool. Like, where the hell is this movie?
Only 3 weeks. She's like,
yes. And then it's like, then they go into kind of just like after that, she's like, all right, she's like deuces. She leaves, and then it was like they literally, and the thing too is they literally promoted the movie with her, as like a main actor. She's like 4th billed in the cast.
I don't think she was promoted. I think from what we read, we thought. I don't think she was promoted. It wasn't like there was commercials.
Oh, I saw commercials.
I saw.
Yeah,
I saw
I don't
lots.
think she was
not trailers, like commercials advertising products for for James Bond. You know how they do that? They do that dual marketing.
Yep.
But it was her advertising as her character from James Bond for like vodka or something.
Yeah. Okay. I've seen a lot of that.
So that doesn't mean. Yeah, I knew she wasn't a main character in it. But other than this, what are good moments about this movie, though?
The action set pieces are kind of amazing in this
really?
movie.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, I'm not like saying this
like
to be
like the opening, sequence where he gets blown up. Basically, he should have been dead, but he hops on the bike and he's like driving all around the town.
That scene was dope.
This is like thrilling.
They use that way too many times, by the way, with the explosion and then like his ears ringing.
It happens 3 times.
3
in this movie.
times, dude. I counted it too.
Yeah, it happens 3 times where the bomb goes off and it's like he flies back. Yeah. But
and he's like,
but it was cool the first time it happened.
Yes.
Oh, it's all
because it's just ringing. And he's just like you can't hear anything. You see, I think a gunshot, or he's on the bridge, running towards whatever.
Yeah.
And I guess against after the kid or whatever that playing the bomb, and he just like gets shot, and you're like he like doesn't realize he's being like chased.
It's cool. Yeah,
it's really cool. But like I really really like the long take sequence at the end of the movie where it's like the grenade falls from the floors above him.
Oh, the stairwell.
And he tosses it up, and then you see multiple grenades fall, and then it cuts into like a sequence where it's like the camera it's just holding on him. And he's just going up the stairs, killing everybody. And then I think shortly after that, there's like another barrel sequence into its own, which is really cool.
Yes.
Where somebody shoots at him, he turns around and shoots the guy. And
Yeah,
it's just like
yeah.
really, it's
That
really
was
like
cool.
it's really slick.
Yes.
Stuff that they don't do in these movies.
I agree. Yeah, and okay, so like going back to the intro is really cool, and I would say it's one of the better. Actually, all of Daniel Craig's intros are pretty good, if I remember correctly. Like Casino Royale is the bathroom.
Yeah, Skyfall, he falls off the train, he gets shot.
Yep, and then
Spectre is
I
not
can't-
memorable. So
I can't remember.
Promise
Spectre.
Solace was the guy in the trunk, which is
Yeah,
awesome.
with the car chase.
That was really cool. Only because it picks up after Casino Royale, which is awesome.
Yes, yes.
Which, you know, that guy in the trunk is Leah
It's-
Seydoux' dad.
Who's that? I don't
Mr.
know.
and
the
so
main girl in this movie.
Madeline,
The main girl in this movie.
Yeah, her dad is the guy that's in the trunk.
Mr.
in
White.
Mr. White.
See, I don't. Okay, I
So
will say
when Rami
something.
Malek,
Yes.
when Rami Malek shows up in the beginning of the movie and he shoots that woman, he's like, "Your husband killed my family." He's talking about Mr.
See,
White.
I did not like
I had a
that.
hard time.
That's Inspector, I believe.
It is Inspector. I had a hard time connecting the dots, and I think it would have helped if I rewatched the movies.
Yeah, but that's
But like,
too much. That's
and that's why I think Spectre is a failure of a Bond movie, because nothing is memorable enough in that movie for you to be able to connect the dots in this movie. At least, like, you know, we
Okay.
can connect the dots with like Casino Royale to Quantum,
Mhm.
Quantum to Skyfall, but like Spectre misses the, you know, doesn't make enough memorable stuff. Like, it's not hard hitting enough to the point where you're like, oh, that sequence, whatever. It's like
Yeah.
you literally have to like,
That was Quantum of Solace, though. That wasn't Spectre.
no, it happened in Spectre.
No, I
It-
thought the guy in the trunk was in Quantum of
Yeah,
Solace.
he's in Quantum, but then he's in Spectre, revealed to be Madeline's father. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, but I'm not going to say just for Spectre, and this might be an unpopular belief. I don't know where you guys sit on this. I do not think Bonds need to be a continuing plot line.
No.
They
No,
should be-
If it was thought out, I wouldn't mind it because the books
Yeah.
are this
No,
way.
I don't like
I wouldn't
that.
mind it,
You know,
but the
you know
way
who makes
they're
better, you know who makes better James Bond movies?
What?
Mission Impossible.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those movies that's like legitimately my favorite franchise.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
phenomenal.
I love
They
those
do
movies.
really great. Honestly, they do great things because of the stunts.
Yeah,
That's why
Yeah.
one thing that's missing from these Bond movies are stunts.
exactly.
And they do like one-off stunts every now and then, but
yeah, but it's like, all right, what does the car do this time? What does the gadget?
Well, and
you know,
they're
whatever.
fun stunts too. Like with the James Bond things, they're like, yeah, but it's realistic. That's cool. But like, and
But, like,
spoiler, we'll talk about this
yeah.
in the next few weeks. But the opening dome scene in GoldenEye
Yeah,
is phenomenal.
Oh,
and
that
you and I
is-
were talking about what a cool scene.
that is pulse pounding action.
yes,
Yeah.
it is
the bungee jump.
phenomenal.
yeah.
Yeah.
That
Or
whole
free fall, right? It's a free
it's
fall.
a free fall, and then it's like I think Bond's like first line is like, "Am I interrupting something?"
He's in the bathroom.
Yeah, he's like
Dude.
the guy's reading the newspaper, and it's like, oh wow, this is how you're introducing James
It's
Bond.
so good.
Yeah. Spy Who Loved Me has a great opening.
Phenomenal.
When he goes off the hill with the skis and then all of a sudden he's falling
Yeah,
and then his
It's so
parachute opens
slow.
up and it's a British
it's
flag.
it's
and you're like,
it's
that's
like
cool.
you know Bond is gonna survive, but the long free fall, and then it's like burn out, and it's playing the showing the flag parachute, and you're like, that is phenomenal.
It's
Yeah.
two things that have kind of really ruined Bond is like it's basically technology.
Yes,
And it's ruined
Yes.
stunts and it's ruined gadgets.
yes,
'Cause
Oh, I
Bond doesn't-
disagree. I
hold
totally
on.
disagree.
Hold on.
Go
Bond
ahead.
doesn't have gadgets anymore. But when there are stunts now in the movies, it takes you like a second to be like, oh yeah, that's a stunt.
yeah,
Like because CGI can just do the same thing.
yeah,
So it's like when he's jumping off the bridge in the beginning and he's like hanging by that cable.
right,
It takes you a second to realize like, oh no, that's a guy doing that stunt.
Yeah,
Like that's a real stunt.
yeah.
Like it's so
I
technology's
just
kind of
think
ruined
they're
it.
just-
in a
No,
way.
I just think they're not fun stunts.
And that too.
I mean, like they literally peaked in the first scene of Casino Royale.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that whole entire sequence of the parkour
Yeah.
is so awesome that they were never able to top that sequence.
Dude, that
Yeah.
car wreck scene in Casino Royale when the car flips over.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. That's
And
awesome.
I'll tell you what happened is that Die Another Day went so off
the rails. They had
that they're like, we got to make it grounded.
But
and
also
now it's too grounded.
They also part of the reason is Austin Powers.
Yes,
that was the other problem.
Yes,
is that Austin Powers literally made fun of these.
Well, yeah,
100%.
it's they need to be fantasy again. They're like you're saying, they're too grounded, and it's like I kind of want to have fun watching these movies.
The
like
gadgets are the best part.
We just watched a movie where there's supernatural stuff that happens. We watched Live and Let Die. And there's literally
which is
supernatural, and it's really cool.
Yeah, and it still feels pretty grounded.
It's grounded still. Because they never really like give you like, hey, this is supernatural. We're just left speculating like, oh, it has to be supernatural
until he inflates.
That's supernatural.
That was one scene. But yeah, I'm not saying like I think they're so afraid about Die Another Day that they're like, it has to be serious. We're not a joke franchise.
Yeah,
it's just not fun.
They're gonna make something goofy, and then he's gonna have some sort of quip or one liner that's like, oh.
Well, and I'll say this. It's made 700 million worldwide, right? Spoiler alert, Bond dies at the end of this movie.
Yeah.
How come none of us have heard this spoiler for an entire month? It sounds like a lot of people saw this movie, but nobody's talking about it.
I think
it seems really weird.
I'll tell you why. From what I read, is that they see Bond is more of an older crowd going to see it these days.
Yeah.
So it made I think it was maybe 200. I'm just guessing 200 in the US, and the remaining 500 to 600 million is over in the UK, obviously.
And they don't know how to use technology to spoil
so we
the movie.
know. But everybody
that
that's seen it over the US is an older crowd because younger crowds don't really.
Yeah.
It's an older thing.
It's just weird. I've run into one person outside of this group who's seen the new Bond movie. And that was it. And I work in a comic shop, and it's not a comic book, but it's all geeks coming in and talking, and nobody's been talking about the Bond movie. Yeah. And I was like, that's weird.
I wonder if the COVID has something to do with that.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
But I'm wondering is it because nobody cared?
I think honestly,
this movie ended and everyone's just kind of like, okay.
I feel bad. James Bond is and I can speak for all three of us when I say this, we all grew up with Bond and such a big part of our childhoods, like many people. And then when Bond dies at the end, I was like, all right.
Yeah.
And I was kind of I feel like and I told Matt this at some point, I was like, had it happened to Pierce Brosnan at the end of World Is Not Enough, when he had a 3 good streak movie thing.
Or Die Another Day and he gets sucked into the back of that jet, just like the villain did.
Yeah, the villain, yeah.
Oh my God, they killed Bond.
There's guts and bones just spraying out of the back. You're like, wow, they really
And it says
did that.
James Bond will not return. And you're like, oh my God.
I guess not.
Yeah.
But if it would happen in a fun one with Pierce Brosnan where you're I like Daniel Craig, but you'd been oh man, Pierce is gone. But I felt the time this movie ended, it happened. I was like, oh, he died.
I feel like part of it's probably because Daniel Craig talks so much shit about this movie. They were just kill his character off. He's the only Bond.
I heard that he would only do it. He'd only do this one if they killed him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Okay.
So, I feel like he complains a lot about Bond.
I mean, he even had
is that just me?
No, he did. He does complain about Bond. He was even on set, when they wrapped up filming. He did a thank you speech where he got really teary eyed, and he said, "I know I complain a lot about this movie, but I just want to say you guys are fabulous to work with."
That's cool.
Oh man,
so it was awesome. But he was kind of teary eyed. But he's he started off basically I know I complain a lot.
Yeah,
but
that's dope. That's cool.
That's cool.
Let's go ahead and move on. Let's talk about the theme song.
Oh, we're not gonna keep talking about the ending about how
it happened. He's gone.
I will say this: it felt unnecessary. It felt like
they could have totally had
situation.
They could have totally had him living the happy life. Finally,
the whole situation.
Like the end of Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah,
dude. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, because somebody brought this up on I think it was Reddit, and they were like, he says, and I think Quantum of Solace about how Skyfall. He's off the radar and everybody thinks he's dead.
Yeah.
I believe that's what I haven't seen Skyfall in a while.
Skyfall, he's off the radar because he gets killed on the train and nobody recovers the body. So he's just hiding.
So everyone thinks he's dead, and he makes some comment about how it's almost better living dead.
Yeah.
They should have ended this movie off ambiguously where
exactly. That's
you don't know if he's dead or not. But he's dead to all the people that are around him, so now he's off the radar.
But it's very clearly the perspective of over the shoulder of James Bond as he sees those missiles coming towards him, and you see that hit next to him. You're like, oh, he's dead.
Yeah, he's very dead at the end of this movie.
It was very clearly like, you know, it wasn't gonna be like a Chris Elliott, like, oh, he might be okay, and then it's like
Chris Elliott.
I was thinking of like Groundhog Day when he falls off the cliff.
Yeah.
He's like, he might be okay.
Yeah.
He's like, nah, not after that.
It's
Dude, this whole ending, I was thinking of like The Rock, of like him like falling on
Jump for
his
the bitch.
knees
Yeah.
with the flares.
Wait,
It just-
I think you're saying The Rock. I was like, The Rock.
Oh, like Dwayne.
Yeah.
I kind of hated the dialogue too between him and Q, and he's like, "Hey, he's like, what'd you say about getting sick?" He's like, you're screwed, you're done. They're like, that's it. You can't find any cure. Like
Yeah.
you're it's over.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Oh, you're sick."
that over.
That over. My bad. It just felt a little unnecessary. I
Yeah, there's
felt like.
lots of like dialogue where it's just like, just say you're gonna hang back.
Yeah, and I didn't feel like he was really in love with like Leah Seydoux.
And I think that's part of the problem with like Spectre is like she was just introduced in that movie. It would be better if she was like introduced in Casino or Quantum of Solace.
Well, they keep talking about Vesper.
yes, I mean
They keep
it's
talking
like,
about Vesper and all these
it's like
movies.
she betrayed you, dude.
But she seems like it's like his that was his true love,
Yeah,
and like Leah Seydoux's like
the
his
fallback.
his
Who's
B
Leia Seydoux? I'm sorry. you
the
gotta-
main girl.
Madeline.
Okay.
Madeline.
But
I'm
like-
sorry. It means it
But like
means-
it seems like
obviously Bond felt the same way about
it seems like Leah Seydoux's like his like B girl.
Yeah.
He's like, you'll do.
Bond
when he-
girl.
Yeah, he's like, you'll do, and like at the end of it, he's like, I guess I love you.
Leah,
And then the bomb's
Leah,
coming. It's like,
Leah, you do.
either Leah you do or Leah you don't. Pick one, Bond. One's dead and one's alive.
I will say I like the way they made Q gay. Like the way they did
Oh
it.
yeah, did they say that?
Mhm.
Yeah, he was having dinner and he was having, I don't know if it was his boyfriend or whatever. And I thought it made me think
Yeah, I like
of,
that too.
and it was done very well in Star Trek Beyond.
Yeah,
They all
John
land on the
Cho.
planet and John Chow walks off and he just puts his arm around his husband with their daughter and they walk
Oh,
off.
that's cool.
And it was, and it's
Yeah,
it's
they do
done
that, don't they?
very well like that.
Yeah.
But I heard that Q, that actor, wants to get out of the Bond movies now.
Ben Whishaw.
Yeah, like he doesn't want to do the next one
Because he's not having fun either. Nobody is.
I mean, I would assume that everybody's going to be gone after this. I don't think.
Oh, really?
What do you think they're going to be doing more movies?
Yeah, you know, at the end of the credits, it says James Bond will return.
Does it really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yes.
I didn't see this.
Yeah, it says it.
I did not see this.
It says it at the end of the. Well, you can look it up, but it says it at the end of the credits that James Bond will return, and they're trying to figure out who they're going to cast right now. At one point, Tom Hardy was in the lead.
I wish.
And
Sorry, I got super pumped.
yeah, but like I also heard Tom Hardy's really hard to work with. I doubt they want to deal with that for 6 movies for 15 years.
Yeah.
But like right now, I want to say somebody from Game of Thrones is in the lead. I don't know if it's Rob Stark or
Okay.
John Stewart,
Yeah.
Jon Snow.
Oh.
Jon Stewart.
Well,
Uh,
they're both in Eternal, so who will?
Yeah,
who will-
I actually prefer Rob Stark.
Rob Stark's awesome. He's in a this BBC show called The Bodyguard. Or
Yeah.
Bodyguard. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty cool.
Are you? Did you find it?
No, I didn't. I was
I would-
talking about the
Okay.
podcast.
He was doing the podcast with us. I would totally be down for Tom Hardy as Bond. I think Tom
he's
Hardy.
he's too much of a wild card.
I
That's
don't
what
know,
I like
man.
about it.
I think he would be. He's too rugged. Like I can't like.
They should get Henry Cavill. He's like
Oh, dude,
That'd be
dope.
fun.
Yeah,
From
dope.
Hellraiser.
oh yeah
Yeah, but
Hellraiser fan.
he's Australian, right?
Immortals.
Is he Australian?
He is English.
Is he English?
I believe
yeah,
so.
he might be English. I think he might be English.
Yeah, because there was a big thing. Yeah, I think he is.
Okay,
English.
I think he's English because it was a whole thing with like Superman's American.
Yep.
And
Yep.
yeah.
So the next movie, I'm thinking, because I think it does say that James Bond will return. It'll probably be like Bond, like missing arms and be like,
I'm
"I'm back." He
Like-
looks like
Like RoboCop.
yeah, it looks like RoboCop after they shoot him.
Dude, that's my favorite part of RoboCop because the whole action sequence is like happening.
Oh, it's
around
happening, yeah.
Him just like basically dragging his foot through the
cut-
streets, like
it-
help
it
me.
cuts multiple times to that guy as he's like going through the factory,
Like,
and then he goes on that one guy. He's like, "Get off me!"
The dad from Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
Oh, it is him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get off me.
So yeah, I don't know. As far as like if they do Bond again, it's gonna have to be a code name.
Just have fun.
and just
Yeah,
have
that's
fun
all I
with it.
missed. This movie.
Just have fun.
Everything can't be serious.
I know.
Everything
That's
yeah,
why
can't be
this
serious.
movie was not fun. There were fun scenes.
Yeah.
But,
But it's like every time you get that high from the action scene, then it goes back to something being somber. You're like,
Yeah.
man, the ebb and flow of this is just like, exhausting.
And I'll tell you, here's another example. And give me just a second to go through this. So you got Chris Cornell does the theme for Casino Royale.
Yeah.
In your face, fun.
Yeah.
Then you have Jack White, Alicia Keys
Still
for
pretty fun.
Quantum. Still a blast. And then these past 3 ones, Skyfall.
I like
No
Skyfall.
shit.
I like Skyfall.
I see where you're getting at.
But
Yeah,
Skyfall.
It gets,
What's the Skyfall? Not Quantum. Skyfall, Spectre, and then this one. They all sound
Oh my
very
God.
similar. They're
Billy,
very
yeah.
like.
Billy, you could have gotten literally anybody for this theme song.
Oh, I don't mind it. I think it's a fine song.
I get what you're saying. They get somber and more somber as they go.
Yeah,
To the
Like,
point where they're
like,
like not
yeah.
even singing, and the song it's just the instrumentals because it's like,
yeah.
I do like this song. I think she
I like it.
does. Her
Yeah.
voice sounds awesome on
it's
this song. But it's just like I need something energetic. Like when we go back to like License to Kill or Living
Yeah.
Daylights or View to a Kill, it's kind of like here we go, and it's
Yeah.
like fun.
Yeah,
Like,
just
that's
build-
what you need to
yeah,
do.
you gotta-
Jane's
Jane's
Addiction.
Addiction needs to do a song.
What?
Jane's Addiction or Rage Against the Machine needs to do
Rage
a
Against the
Bond
Machine
song.
would
Come on,
Yeah.
come on, Blofeld.
Yeah. I quit it now.
There's a war going on.
it's
like-
like war is bad.
There's a political message then. And you're
Yeah.
like, what?
This does not fit the theme of this movie.
Q's not in this one.
Don't buy from Amazon, buy local.
Don't be loco, buy local. Come on.
I would love this.
But yeah, the song's fine. It just I don't know. I just need something more in your face.
I
get
wanna
it
have
needs to be-
fun.
It needs to be upbeat.
Yeah.
It needs to be like really amped up for a Bond movie.
You know, kudos to the Marvel movies for being able to balance something somber and have fun still.
Yeah.
Because you watch like, okay, spoiler for Endgame. If you don't know, if you haven't watched Endgame yet, like come on.
Go watch it.
Um,
Did you know Reginald Johnson was in Endgame and they cut his scene out?
Really?
Really?
Yeah,
Reginald
when
Bell Johnson?
Yeah.
Did he play a cop?
No.
He's like,
That's
I
it
killed a
too.
superhero once.
It was a ray gun. It was dark. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's what I was quoting.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
that whole scene is like, it was dark.
Yeah.
It's weird because his scene is very similar to a scene they talk about, I think in Lethal Weapon 3, right?
What? Oh.
Isn't there something like never
I think
mind.
Yeah, there is.
I think there
yeah,
is. I can't remember. We
Yeah.
covered it for the podcast. I
Yeah.
forgot. But anyways, what the hell were we talking about?
Oh, Reginald Van
Okay,
Johnson.
Endgame. Endgame balances fun, and then same
Yeah, they go-
situation.
yeah.
A main character
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
perishes at
yeah.
the end.
But then they're making jokes and stuff.
but it's like it's a gut punch.
yeah,
When
it
he
is.
dies at the end of that movie, you're like,
it's
oh,
actually
it
it's actually
sucks.
really effective.
It's very effective.
And because we spent the last like decade following this character, similar to Bond, but it doesn't quite hit as well.
Yeah,
in this movie.
and that's
It's
why
weird.
I kind of questioned when I walked away from it. I was like, okay, I knew that was a decent movie.
like this should
but,
have been
like,
on the
that
level
just-
of like
that
the
sh-
Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr.
that should have been a punch to the balls in the gut at the same time.
ball gut.
The ball gut, and it just wasn't. I just walked away. I'm like, okay, like
You know what they should have done?
I'm gonna
was
live my life still.
It
Yeah.
should have ended. The movie plays out exactly as it did, and then missile hits Bond, and it carries him up into space. And then they're like, you know what? Let's have fun with this ending. And he he looks down the ground.
That's
He-
that's the time when they
This is-
decide when he's in space
They're gonna have fun.
is when they come up with the decision that like we should have fun with this.
And
And
just
then
watching him as he flies
as the
up.
missile's taking him up, he looks at the audience and he's like, "I'll always be in your dreams." And then he go up into space and he's like,
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and then it's like it goes across and says, "The more you know."
Yeah,
it says shop local.
Shop local, don't be loco. Shop local.
It blows up and it's just Daniel Craig's face, but like in stars, basically.
Yeah, we'll always
Wink.
remember him.
Yeah, wink. What
And
are
I-
we saying about Reginald Bell Johnson now?
Oh man, I could
Is
talk
this
so much about
Is
him.
this a real trip? Is this worth our time?
Yeah, I think so. He was in Crocodile Dundee.
Okay.
He was in Die Hard,
Yeah.
Family Matters, Turner and Hooch,
Yeah.
and then he was in Endgame. They cut one of his scenes out.
Wow, that's a bummer. He's
Yeah.
awesome. I
What
love
was
that
he in
guy.
Endgame?
They cut his scene out. I don't know.
Anyways,
Obviously, I don't know. They cut it out.
why the hell did you bring all this up?
He was like a mortician or something.
Oh, because we were making Die Hard jokes.
No, because
no,
last
we
night,
made Die Hard jokes because he
last
brought
night
up
I was watching
Reginald
Family
Johnson.
Matters.
He literally brought this up out of the blue, Honto.
Oh.
If you go back and listen, he just all of a sudden he just said Reginald Johnson is an Endgame.
I'll listen to the recap.
No,
and
you
we're
said-
all like, and you and me were like, what? What does
You
this have to
just
do with
said
anything?
just like Endgame, and I was like, oh, Reginald Johnson.
yeah,
Yeah.
which was
Everybody
like both the
thinks of.
logical decision
Yeah.
those people's brains
That
go when they think
connection.
of Endgame. The missed
Um,
opportunity.
The what did you think of the 007 replacement?
oh, not great.
She's
I mean,
fine.
I mean, like, I wish she was great, but like, she had one cool scene.
Yeah.
The part where she's like, "Do you know what time it is?" He's like, what time? He's like, time to die. And then she kicks that guy, the scientist, off in the acid. Because that guy is basically racist.
I do not remember this.
The scientist that like basically helped Rami Malek get like the virus or whatever.
Oh yes.
So she's like got him captive in like that last sequence or whatever.
Yeah.
And there's like that pool of acid that all the people are working to manufacture like the disease or whatever. She's like shooting the bad guys, and he says basically something very, very racist.
Okay.
Along the lines of like exterminating her race. And she's like, she looks at him and says, you know what time it is? And he says, what? And he says, time to die. And then she kicks him off.
Well, no, he looks at his watch. He's like 4:00.
Yeah. It's Miller time.
It's Miller time. It's 5:00 somewhere.
But yeah, that was like legitimately awesome. I was like, that's
I will
badass.
say, I fell asleep I was trying not to fall asleep during this
know.
movie. It was just, I could not.
Yeah.
This movie.
There was one sequence I did actually kind of doze off in.
Okay.
It was the part when they were going to confront Blofeld. Because
I got to talk about this for a second. Okay, so because this was one of my big beefs with this movie.
Yeah.
So if you know anything about the history on with James Bond, is that they lost the rights to Blofeld because they lost the rights to the book Thunderball to a different producer, he held on to those rights until he made Never Say Never with Sean Connery and Kim Basinger.
And that's why they have the Thunderball Never Say Never, which is basically like the same movie.
Yeah, it's basically the same movie. And this guy has had the rights to Blofeld for like 30 years, maybe 40 years.
Okay.
Up until they did Spectre. So the big deal was like, so anytime Blofeld appears in a Bond movie post Thunderball, he's not called Blofeld.
No, they don't call him anything. Like even in For Your Eyes Only, when they lift him from the wheelchair with the helicopter, they never even mention who it is. They don't even show his face.
Is he Blofeld in Diamonds Are Forever?
Yes.
Okay, so maybe it's Diamonds Are Forever up. They never call him Blofeld.
Well,
he looks like Blofeld, and that's it. That's what they go with.
There's like a uncredited kind of like a deleted scene for Live and Let Die, where the villain was actually called Blowfish, and that's when he flies to the ceiling and blows up.
That's
because
awesome.
they were trying to do like a thing for Blofeld.
Hanto was smiling. He was so good. His face was so straight. Yeah. And at the very end, he's like, I can't take it.
Actor studio over here, James Lipton, trying to hold on to character so we can get the trivia out. But like, okay, so they've been in a rights battle forever up until Spectre, and we talked about this on the Spectre episode. So finally, they got the rights back to Blofeld, and they're gonna reimagine Blofeld and bring him back to the Bond universe via Christoph Waltz and Spectre. So it's a big deal. So now Bond's got his arch enemy back, right? He's in one scene in this movie and they kill him off immediately. And they kill off the entirety of Spectre in one party scene. It's like they literally threw away like everything they were fighting to get for the past 30, 40 years in one movie. They're like, forget it. Why is Blofeld not the main villain in this movie?
And this is what I was reading, is that they could have easily like written off Rami Malek's like character.
Yeah.
Like completely got rid of whatever.
Yeah.
His plot. They could have made Blofeld just a guy who escaped via Spectre or whatever organization is involved, whether it's Spectre or not. They could have just made him a guy looking for world domination via this virus that kills off people with DNA.
Yeah.
And that would be a genius plot because it's an evil genius plot.
And Rami Malek could have still been in it as his...
He could be the right-hand man.
His arch... Yeah. His like...
He could have been he could have been like the heavy of this movie.
The heavy of the movie. Yeah. Because his plot makes no sense. I don't know what his...
Yeah. It's shoehorned.
I understand what his purpose is, but like when he's
It's shoehorned in. It's basically his family was like... It's like a family of chemists or whatever that got hired by Spectre, and then Spectre betrayed them, and now he's going after Spectre, which is the whole plot of this entire movie, basically.
But then at the end of the movie, it's like, what is he doing? He already did it.
He's gone this far. He's going to go the distance, basically. That's essentially the plot. He completed his task of killing Spectre. Now he's taking it the extra mile.
It should have just been Blofeld, but I want to say there had to have been something going on with Christoph Waltz and like him not being able to film.
It's very possible
because I just don't see any excuse why would they bump him off so quickly. If they go through all the trouble too.
I don't think it has anything to do with he can't film because maybe it was filmed a year and a half ago.
I was actually just gonna say if they delayed it 6 times. Delay until you can get that plot point.
But like even in Spectre, they go through all this trouble to make him look like Blofeld.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like with the eye and everything. and like just to get rid of him in one scene in the next movie. Like, what a waste of time. I'd be pissed.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a waste. They'll bring him back.
He's
I
dead.
bet the new no, Matt. I think they're probably gonna end up starting over.
They probably
it's
will.
gonna be James Bond, teenage boy, and
James Bond
that's
Jr.
the title.
James Bond Jr.
Yeah.
The American nephew of. Do you ever watch that cartoon?
Yeah. It'll probably be a much younger James Bond.
Yeah, I mean they would have to
and it'll be his first mission.
Honestly, my dream Bond is them to just cover the books and do them in the 1950s and 1960s.
That'd be cool. I like that.
But like obviously no gadgets or whatever. Make it like as close.
You lost me. I want
but
I want
like,
the fun of it.
Only because I feel like modern technology, like smartphones, makes movies very lame these days.
Yeah.
Especially when it's like, we got to do, like, I'm on board with you now, but like, we got to do a hacking scene. And I remember you said before seeing this movie is, if they do another fucking hacking scene, and they literally do a hacking scene with Q.
If it's missile scenes, hacking scenes, and satellites.
Yeah.
It's like the three things I hate seeing and like.
Well, you got all of that in one of the best Bond movies
I
ever
was
made.
say the same thing.
I hate it, dude. I hate watching it. It's so boring. And the fact that nobody has a normal looking desktop where it's like a white background and just like there's like
it's
just
like, where can
folder icons. They're always like, oh, my background's black and my folder icons are
they got these
neon
like
red, and it's like
they got
it looks
these
like a
like
hacking program where the code's going down.
They got these
on
like
one side.
MS DOS like windows that like don't exist in real life.
Yeah,
and, you're like,
and
oh,
the code's being scanned on one side of the screen. And I'm like, okay, first off, who would program something like that so you could see the code like that?
Yeah.
Like that's totally useless. Why would anybody have something like that where the code just keeps scanning like the Matrix?
Matrix, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I see a girl in a red dress here, and then I see. You know what I'm talking about? Matrix.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as this movie's concerned, I don't have much more to add to it. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about? I mean, like I said, I think this movie is fine. I don't think I'll probably ever watch it again, and which is a shame.
I probably will.
Because a lot of Bonds have rewatch value. I don't feel like this has rewatch value.
I'll agree with you. Like, because of what happens at the end of this movie, I can get past Casino Royale. The other ones kind of feel like I don't want to go back and rewatch him if I know he's just gonna die.
Yeah.
Oh, the death thing doesn't bother me. Even take that out, I still don't think it has.
Have you watched the
rewatch
Star
value.
Wars movies after knowing Han Solo dies?
No, but it doesn't bother me. It's
no?
like
I've rewatched Force Awakens because that movie actually is still pretty good.
Yeah.
I haven't gone like Last Jedi. I still like it, but a little less rewatch value.
I think he's talking about the original OG ones.
Yeah.
OG.
Have you
ones.
gone back and watched?
I
the
have.
original?
Yeah, they're amazing.
Is it kind of weird though, knowing Han Solo's gonna
It's
die?
weird, but it's whatever.
I mean, people are gonna, these people are gonna die anyway. So what's the difference?
I kind of look at the Daniel Craig movies too, like because of what they are. It kind of feels like they're like exaggerated like fan fiction.
Yeah,
and they don't really fit into the rest of the Bond movies because it feels like Die Another Day is a bad movie.
Yeah,
but Die Another Day does fit in with like Dr. No.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like they fit that.
It's
like
I know we're not covering it for the podcast, but it'd almost be a fun one to cover because I bet it's fun.
Yeah.
I bet it's
it's
ridiculous.
I bet it's so like my whole thing is like it's probably so stupid that we could just like have fun talking about it the entire time.
Yeah.
Like, and that's like always like what I like about doing the show is like I'll watch the dumbest shit on here, but as long as we have a good conversation, make fun of it.
Exactly.
Totally fine.
Yeah, and I thought we watched this movie, and the best thing we got out of it was a Rage Against the Machine joke.
Quit it now. That's how we end the podcast.
Yeah, and Anna de Armas is definitely worth. It's definitely worth checking out this movie just for her.
Yeah, she is. She's a rising star because like the last couple movies she's been in, Blade Runner 2049 and Knives Out.
I know she was in it. Knives Out is one I can knock it into.
Really, I'm a little bummed she's not going to be in the new Knives Out movies. That it's more of a
doesn't make sense. But if you haven't seen it, you should watch it.
Knives Out?
Yeah.
I saw it. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
I wanted to
watch it. She's great in that movie.
She is good in it, yes.
But and I'll say that too. I think Daniel Craig is a really good actor. I think the reason why he wants to get out of the Bond movies too, also he's the longest running Bond by years. Year-wise.
Yeah.
He's been doing it for 15 years. Sean Connery I think only did it for like 10 or 12, and Roger Moore did it for 12.
Okay.
So he's the longest running Bond.
I disagree because are you counting Never Say Never Again?
It doesn't really count.
Why does it not count?
Because it's like a gap. There
was gaps between these. There was 5-year gaps.
It's like a 20-year.
Spectre was 2016.
I know, but it's hard to sit there and be like, if you were working a job and you were making a resume for that position, you wouldn't sit there and say like, oh, my name's Chris. I worked at KFC for 20 years. Like, no, you worked for the 3 years back in the past, and now you work you worked your first year now.
I
wouldn't
went,
say you
I
worked
went
20
and
years.
did an internship somewhere else, and I came back, but I was never not
But
employed.
you see, I already proved you wrong. You
Nope.
lost this
I
one.
know. Sean Connery's the longest running because I've never
He's
seen
not.
Never Again.
He's not.
Yeah,
He's not.
because you do it between the times. It's like what?
No, you can't do that.
68 to 1984.
Daniel Craig is slated to be the longest serving, 15 years, but Roger Moore's done more movies.
Roger Moore. And
He's saying that like because Never
Yeah.
Say Never came out in 80.
I know. I've been listening.
Yeah, I know. But then why did you say that?
well, Roger Moore and Connery had the same amount of movies.
Okay.
If you count Never Say Never Again. Roger
Oh,
Moore
yeah.
has 7 official. Connery has 6 official plus Never Say Never.
Okay.
And then Roger Moore was in Spice World. Go ahead, Matt.
And Reginald Johnson was in Endgame, but you didn't see him.
But you didn't see him. I don't know who his
Deleted.
character
What was like even getting on about?
Because we were talking about. Oh, you said. That,
Oh, okay.
You said
I think
Sean
Daniel
Connery
Craig-
was the longest running Bond.
Shut up. I think Daniel Craig is an awesome actor. I feel like the way they wrote Bond, they didn't
It's
give
the
him
way-
enough to do.
Ultimately, it's the way they wrote this character.
Yeah, they didn't know what to do with him, and they didn't give him enough to do because he does a good job in the Knives Out movies.
Yeah,
and
He's good in
Knives
Tales
Out.
from the
Oh, yeah.
Crypt.
And
He's
he'll be good in the other ones.
Yeah.
Well, not according to you, because we watched like the first 5 minutes. You're like, I'm turning this off.
In the Tales from the Crypt, that was
Yeah.
Bob Hoskins.
Oh, yeah, it was.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Bob
so I
Hoskins was
think
in Roger Rabbit too.
They
Yeah.
didn't really give him enough to do.
Scenes deleted.
Seems deleted.
And now
Um,
I'm here talking to myself.
No, don't say
Uh,
that. No, what were you saying
well, yeah,
about?
they
What
didn't
were you
get-
saying about Internals?
uh,
And the
the
streaming
model-
and the future of streaming.
the movie model of the future. The movie model of the future.
I agree. They don't give him enough to do. They don't let his personality come out.
Yeah, they don't let
No,
him like have.
But they
fun.
did in Casino Royale because there's a lot of fun stuff in Casino Royale where you're like,
Yes.
oh, he's an agent, but he's also a human being.
I think it's because they've been walking that line where it's like if he makes a joke, then we're doing Die Another Day in a Roger Moore
I
movie again.
100% agree.
And it's like, no, you can make jokes. Like
Yeah.
I saw somebody like quip. They're like, there was a part where he kills a guy with the magnet on his watch and he blows up the guy's fake
Oh
eye.
yeah.
And he has a quip and he's like, hey, he's like, I was just showing
Mind
somebody
blowing or
my new
something?
watch. I was showing somebody my new watch. It blew his mind.
Yeah.
And people were like, oh, that's so stupid. And I was like, dude,
Give it-
really?
Yeah, it's kind of awesome. It
I
was-
love
that-
when people
that's-
like they can't wrap their head around it. Like
Yeah.
the guy's been on like 5 like world traveling missions, but
Yeah.
he throws a quip out and they're like, "Oh, I'm completely taken out of the movie."
Yeah.
like
that's what I mean.
um,
Bonds are supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
If you want a serious spy drama, and I love this series, so
Go
I'm not
watch
knocking-
Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy.
I
yeah.
was gonna say, go watch the Bourne series.
Yeah.
Those are awesome, straightforward spy movies. But James Bonds are supposed to be fun,
Yeah.
lighthearted,
Yep.
ridiculous at
Yep.
times.
Absolutely.
And this one just wasn't for me.
Oh, I was gonna say another positive, one last positive for this movie.
Yeah.
I like the use of On Her Majesty's Secret Service theme song.
Yes.
By Louis Armstrong.
Yes.
I really, really liked the use of
Both.
the song.
Both on Her Majesty's Secret Service songs.
They
were
use
in
the
this.
Louis Armstrong.
and they use the theme at one point.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, it plays in the background
I
during
really love like
that
that.
soundtrack's dope.
Oh yeah, it's like among my favorites.
yeah. Oh yeah. What did we think of the soundtrack? It's Hans Zimmer because he
It's
didn't do the
fine.
last
it
one,
was.
right?
I think
It's weird. The only thing that stood out was the Manchester Secret Service stuff.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think it was boring up until the stairwell. That's where I got really the Hans Zimmery.
Okay, I'd have to hear it again.
I'd have to hear it too, but it
I
was like
bet
I remember
you-
I remember being in the zone like when it was happening. I was like, yes.
Yeah, it sounded like. Oh well, actually, we talked about this because he couldn't do the Chris Nolan movie because he was doing the Bond movie,
Tenet,
right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, but that would have landed at the same time. Like
Actually,
Bond
because
would've
I
came
know
out the
whoever
same
the
year as
original
Tenet.
composer was on this. This is like the only movie where somebody composed it, I think, and then he decided to get Hans Zimmer. to do
Really?
it.
He wrote over
Something.
the notes basically.
Yeah.
they
Um,
hired Louis Armstrong in, and he came up with the score. And
Yeah.
Hans Zimmer's like, "I'm taking over." No, you're not.
No, you're not.
This is stupid.
We don't have enough score.
We have all the score in the world.
But yeah, that was like the most memorable stuff was when they were playing that music, and it was only because I love that movie
it's
so much.
It's so
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
That movie is underrated.
Oh, it's dope.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I know without even giving. I know at some point we're gonna talk about our
yeah.
favorite Bonds.
Yeah.
I know it's one of our favorites
Yeah,
for sure.
I was gonna say, there's been a lot of like celebrity directors that talk about their favorite Bonds, right? And I know like Chris Nolan's, I think, is A Spy Love Me.
Okay.
And then I want to say Tarantino's is On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Yeah.
Good for him.
But then and we talk about this for
Whose is Die Another Day? Let's just get down.
Man, whose isn't?
Is it the guy who did the Resident Evil movies? Is Die Another Day?
Yeah. But at one point they had like Tarantino wanted to do a movie.
Yeah.
Spielberg wanted to do a movie. Scorsese was going to do a James Bond movie.
If
I
Spielberg,
want to say Chris Nolan maybe.
No,
Yeah.
because they asked Nolan to do this one and he said no.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think if Spielberg like directed an action movie ever again, he would actually make some pretty cool action set pieces for a Bond movie.
Right?
Like
I think they
like
should
the domino effect of what he, his sequence always have like a thing that like things happen in a domino effect type of way.
Oh yeah, I know
Where-
exactly.
Yeah,
what you're talking about,
and it would be awesome to see something like that
Yeah.
in this movie.
I remember the Tarantino one being that like Pierce Brosnan was really pushing because it was going to be Casino Royale, and Pierce Brosnan was really pushing for it because he's like, this script's awesome and I really want to do this.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to do it, and then they went on without him and
Oh,
did
okay.
Daniel Craig.
Oh, I have heard of this. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, but it's like but Danny Boyle was actually the director on this
Did he-
before
did he actually
Cary
direct-
Joji Fukunaga.
Yeah, Cary Joe. Yeah.
he dropped out before they started.
Okay, so he
'cause-
didn't
yeah.
film anything at
No.
all.
Yeah, but I want to say a lot of the controversy was that he didn't want to do it because he's like they wanted to kill off Bond and he didn't want to kill
I've
off
heard.
Bond.
I read something the other night, and I guess there was a couple rumors that were going on. So there's no like definitive of why he dropped out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I will say one thing I thought about. This is my last note on this movie.
I have actually, sorry, I have one more note.
No,
but
you're
you
good.
go. You go first.
I'm done.
Speaking of doing a female 007 spinoff,
Okay.
I wish they would have done it with Halle Berry as they intended with Die
they
Another
did.
Day.
Oh,
I forgot
yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the
What was her
plan.
character's name?
I cannot think of it. I could see it like as soon as you say
Jinx
it.
or something?
Jinx.
Yeah, Jinx. Yeah.
Dude, way
And-
to pull that
nice.
one out of your ass, man.
Hey,
that
thanks.
was
And that was the whole thing, was it was a setup for her character. And she, for a ridiculous movie, she's still fun enough in that movie
Yeah.
that she could have totally done her
Yeah,
own
I
movie.
don't-
Yeah.
It could have easily made 300
I don't
million.
think she was a problem in that movie. She was
Not at
actually
all.
pretty good, but like it was just how the movie was done.
Oh,
That's why
sure.
it's one of the worst. But I think seeing her in a spinoff would be actually pretty cool.
I bet
Yeah,
you
that
if
would've
you
been awesome.
rewatched all the Bonds, Die Another Day is not one of the worst.
I would probably agree with you on
Because
that.
when we talked about like Man with the Golden Gun is kind of boring and like
yeah, man. Gold
yeah.
Gun's rough.
It's not. Yeah, I don't think it's
Yeah.
not good. I would say Moonraker is probably one I've watched the least. And it might be the worst.
I remember
It's
it being
really
fun.
weird, honestly, talking about Bond and how long Bond's been around for. It's one of the few like movie franchise that hasn't been able to like build a universe. Like
Like a share, like a
a shared
Other-
universe,
other
like
than-
other stories with other characters.
right.
Like it's kind of weird that they haven't really tried to do that ever.
Where it's like now he's teamed up with this character that you met two
Yeah.
movies
And
ago.
well, they
And
did, yeah.
MGM's not a really hot studio. The only thing they got going for them is Bond.
yeah.
So you think they would be like, hey, let's try to build a universe here.
They've tried and they keep having like the Jinx thing and then the new 007.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure this won't happen either. They're like, we're gonna
Yeah.
do it, and then they don't.
Yeah.
Like, just do it.
Well, they throw so much damn money at one of these movies that like
one of the.
I'm not saying I need a whole universe or anything like that, but I really want a Paloma movie. So
Yeah.
I want an Ana de Armas movie.
She's
hey,
great.
get Blumhouse to make one of them for $2 million, and that thing makes $400 million.
Yeah.
But Hunter, you had one more
Oh,
thought.
so okay. So I was really bummed when Felix Leiter died.
Yes,
They
I totally
they
forgot
killed him
about
off when
this.
he
Yeah.
dies. I was like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, that sucks.
because Jeffrey Wright is awesome.
Yeah.
he's one of the best actors.
Unnecessary.
Unnecessary.
Death.
Yeah, unnecessary death. I feel like they should have continued They should do a spin-off CIA movie
That would have been awesome.
with him and Paloma, because I think Paloma's supposed to be a CIA
Paloma?
agent. And Ana de Armas.
Oh, okay.
I think
Yeah.
she's supposed to be CIA, so like it would be cool to see. Let's see a CIA.
Did you
That
notice
sounds
they like
awesome.
basically killed off everybody that's involved with Casino Royale?
Yeah, exactly.
Throughout the movies.
And this is my beef
Yeah.
with how ineffective the ending for this movie is that I feel like you can't kill off major characters like Felix in the first part and then James Bond in the latter part. I feel like it's got to be either one or the other. It'd be more effective if they let Felix live let James Bond die.
Yeah, I was actually more bummed that Jeffrey Wright's
I was
character
more
died.
I was more bummed that
than Bond.
that happened.
And maybe that's the reason why I wasn't so like shocked when Bond died, because like
'Cause they blew their
wasted
load.
we wasted all the good surprise on Jeffrey Wright dying.
Yeah.
But that's the
You
thing.
know?
You think it would get you as an audience member. They kill off a main character, and you're like, "Whoa, they did that!"
Yeah.
And you're like, "All right,
Now
nothing
there's-
else
yeah.
is gonna happen."
Yeah.
And then that happens. You think you'd be like thrown off guard again.
Yeah.
But then you're
Yeah.
just kind
I
of like,
also
yeah.
think Bond decided to stay on that island so he didn't have to be a dad.
I think so too.
Yeah, and he's like, oh man, he's like,
"There's
ooh,
missiles everywhere."
Yeah.
We don't see anything.
Oh man, they're nonstop. He's
Oh
making
man,
this-
I'm dying so
Is
hard.
that- is that him
I
making
don't
the
have
sound
time to
effects?
die.
Was that him making the sound effects? of the
Yeah,
missiles?
yeah. I was going.
Oh no, the missiles are taking me to space. See ya. I'll always be in your dreams.
Look to the
He's-
stars.
he throws the walkie as he does. He's like, bye.
See you.
Whatever you do, don't come on the island. There's germs everywhere.
Everywhere.
Oh man, so that is everybody good on No Time to Die?
That's
Yeah.
it.
All right, like I said, it's a fine movie. I just wish it was better.
Yeah.
Can we do this really quick? Let's rank our Craig movies.
I already did.
Mm.
Casino, Skyfall, Spectre, No Time to Die, and then Quantum of Solace.
Okay, Honto.
Casino, Skyfall, No Time to Die, Quantum, and then Spectre.
Oh wow. Okay.
I would say, actually, Honto. I'm going to steal yours. I think that's mine too.
So what is it?
Copycat.
Casino.
Copycat.
Say Casino, Skyfall.
So Casino, Skyfall, No Time to Die, Quantum, and then Spectre.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's weird because I think I've seen Quantum twice, but I've only seen
I've seen it a
Spectre
few times.
once.
I've seen it a few times.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Okay, so as we talk about this now, I think this movie's fine. It's okay. But then things change over time. Like Man with the Golden Gun used to be an awesome movie.
Mhm.
Probably not so much. I bet I could
Yeah.
watch Die Another Day, and it might be a dope movie now.
I think Die Another Day is secretly your favorite Bond movie.
I'm kind of getting the itch to watch it.
Yeah, dude,
As the
somebody's
more we
really
talk about it,
jacked about
Yeah.
dying another
I kind of want to watch it.
For somebody
Um,
who just ripped into this movie for
Yeah.
about an hour, he's
I
really
didn't
excited
rip
about
into it.
watching
I
one
said
of the worst
positive
Which
Bond
like
on
has some
movies.
pretty exciting action sequences, and then there's a guy with a power glove in Die
Yeah.
Another Day.
And there's
Even,
an invisible
like,
car.
Even Pierce Brosnan like laughed at it. He's like, "This is so stupid."
It's one scene. It's the surfing scene.
Yeah,
But then Quantum of Solace. Maybe I'll rewatch that and I'm like, oh, that wasn't as bad as I remembered. That's pretty dope.
I think there's actually some good stuff in Quantum of Solace. It just feels like it's not like
yeah.
it's a sophomore slump with Casino Royale being so awesome.
Yeah.
yes.
That's like
the
I mean
biggest
that's
problem.
what's going on with it.
Yeah, Casino Royale like is just it rocks so hard
Yeah.
that when you get to like Quantum, you're like, this is it, man. This is the new this is the way Bond movies are gonna be. And that movie is just flat. It's like, oh, okay.
Question: how does Bond have a kid after he gets his balls smashed a bunch of times in Casino Royale? Do you remember that scene?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Very
yeah, good
memorable
call,
scene.
He
dude.
said, I got an itch down there.
Probably something from Q Branch, dude.
What's that?
Probably something from Q
Oh
Branch.
yeah,
Probably.
yeah. They have
yeah,
like
they can fix that, but they can't fix
they have-
nanobites.
They have nanosperm. That's what they gave him.
Nanobots, sorry, not nanobites. Nanobites sounds like a kid's afternoon snack.
Hey, have some nanobites.
Whoa!
Nanobites.
No cure from nanobites.
Like Nano Pet, like the toy you would have.
Yeah.
But the point I was getting at is like maybe in 5-6 years I'll rewatch this and I'm like, all right, that was pretty decent.
Yeah.
Because it all depends on your state of mind as well. Some things just age better than others. Like when we talk about Scream 4 next year, and then you're like, oh man, that movie's dope. And I'm like, yeah, right?
This is like the Die Another Day of the Scream franchise.
Yeah.
So that is No Time to Die, the latest in the Bond series. We're continuing the coverage. It's nonstop. We are doing the Sean Connery vehicle, Diamonds Are Forever, a movie I have not seen in probably 10 years. So right now, in my state of mind, I love Diamonds Are Forever. It's a fun movie.
yeah.
Been two or 3 years because I bought the Bond box set.
Yeah.
And I made it all through the Connery movie. So
Okay.
I have seen this in the last few years.
Diamonds Are Forever is a good Bond movie if you've seen all the Bond movies.
Okay.
If you were to like show Diamonds Are Forever
Like a first entry.
to the first entry, people
Dude,
wouldn't get it because Diamonds
yeah.
Are the best part about Diamonds Are Forever is it makes fun of the Bond movies.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know
And
what I mean?
also the cold open intro with the whole like looking for Blofeld is
Yeah.
like so weird.
It is.
Yeah,
It
it's
is.
so weird if you haven't seen any of the other
I'm
movies.
so
Yeah.
super excited to watch this movie. So we all have good things to say about it right now, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to see if it changes when we actually talk about it. So we'll be covering Diamonds Are Forever, starring Sean Connery. If you have any requests or any comments or anything at all, you can hit us up on Facebook or you can email us at
cinemacoolpodcast@gmail.com.
And as always, thank you so much for listening. We love doing this. We hope you love listening to it. I'm Chris.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Honto.
And Cinema Cult Network will return next week.